I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. This is Stop Drinking Alcohol episode 70. Before I get on with this week's, the content of this week's video, which is quitting alcohol in the short term and the long term, just wanted to let you know about the podcast, which will be out on Thursday. And this week I talk about pain. So pain that we're feeling before and after, emotional pain more than anything else. But a bit of physical pain in there as well. I think we all feel some physical pain. I've also got a couple of questions. One is, can you eat food with alcohol in it, or do I eat food with alcohol in it? And I talk a bit about that, a bit about my own preferences. And second question is, if you can hold your drink, is it a concern? So I talk a bit about who the concern is for, whether it's yourself or whether you're concerned about somebody else drinking, and also what you mean by holding your drink. So check that out. You can go over to the website and you can download it from the website, but you can also go over to iTunes. So this week's topic is about short-term and long-term quitting. So what to expect in the near future, and what to expect 6 months, 8 months, a year down the line. And I want to talk about that, not in terms of bad things, because I don't think, I think it's all good. Once you get over the idea that there's going to be discomfort, you're going to go through a bit of discomfort, and once you can handle that, once you can get that into your head and accept it, I think it's all good. I don't think there's anything not to look forward to. And from that perspective, I wanted to talk, because I think the short term is the time when a lot of mistakes are made. I think it's when people give in and go back to drinking because they can't handle it. And it's important to have rewards, to reward yourself and to have something there while you're going through the discomfort, so that the discomfort isn't as painful or as uncomfortable as it could be. So I'll talk about a few of those rewards that you can give yourself. The best way to change long-term behavior is by short-term feedback, and it's one of the dangers of any drug abuse, is that you're getting a constant feedback in the short term. You're getting constant pleasure, or whatever you use in alcohol for, whatever you're using the tool, whether it be to hide from something or to relax, or like I say, to get pleasure. It's immediate gratification, and it's something that you forego once you quit drinking. And it's very difficult to do the opposite way around. It's difficult to reward short-term behavior with long-term feedback, because if I can say to you about all the implications of drinking, all the long-term implications, and I talk about that often because I think it has to be in your mind, but at the same time it doesn't really work, because it is down the road. Unless you're physically suffering now at the moment, a lot of that stuff just won't affect you. I think visualization, if you can bring the long term, bring the future into the present by visualization, by trying to see yourself in the future and try and make those visions of yourself as realistic as possible. I think that can cause you enough pain to to seriously consider stepping over the starting line at least. But just telling people that you could possibly get this, and you could, you could have a bad liver, or your family could leave you, or you could lose your job, and I think all that's doing really is winding people up. And when you have an addiction like this, and you use alcohol as a tool instead of exercise as your tool, then it's very easy to go out and hide behind the alcohol and do the exact thing that you don't want to do. So when it comes to drinking, you need to understand that about alcohol consumption, that it is about the short-term gain, about the short-term feedback, and that's what you get from drinking. Is it's all short-term. It's all in the now. Like I say, I consider it to be. Once you look back on yourself and you look back on your own behaviour, look back on your drinking life, you'll see how selfish it is, and that's the way I view my own drinking career in the past, is as completely selfish. In the short term, you're going to go through the discomfort. We've already said that, and everybody already understands that. It's nearly never as bad as you think it will be, because we all wind ourselves up beforehand. It's very easy to do that by getting online and looking at all their websites and listening to other people who have gone through it, especially people who are, they're saying it's the worst time of my life when I quit, and I really didn't think I could do it. And if you listen to too much of that, then all it does is heighten your own fears about quitting, and a lot of people, it just stops them from ever doing it, because they would rather have the short-term oblivion of drunkenness rather than and not think about it, and not think about quitting, rather than go through the pain of quitting. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that if you one of the painful things, one of the fears is that of never having a drink again. And from the immediate perspective of never having a drink again, when you look forward, it's a very daunting task. It's a very daunting idea, that you're going to go through life, and no matter what happens, you never will have that crutch to hold, to go back on. But you build other crutches, you build, they're not crutches, they are crutches. Whatever way you want to call them, it's you build other things to cope with your life. You build the coping strategies for dealing with whatever comes up. You have something to deal with. You build other avenues for pleasure, for giving yourself entertainment and having fun. And you realize that in the long term, once you get down the road and you're off the drink and you're not thinking about it every day, and you'll start to think about it and think, well, all those years when I thought that I was afraid of missing out on alcohol and not being able to go to parties and not being able to do whatever, not having your crutch, is that it was a straitjacket, not a crutch that you had, that it was holding you back from so much, from everything good in life, and fooling your mind into thinking that alcohol was any good. And we live in a world, unfortunately, where alcohol companies are no better than drug dealers, but have all the legality and all the money to brainwash your mind with propaganda, and it's all legal. They need to keep within guidelines, but most of those guidelines are made up by the fucking drink companies anyway. So and it's a self-perpetuating cycle. At the end of the podcast this week on Thursday, there's a letter that I came across as well from a woman in England who just wrote about her alcoholic father, and it was the letter that she never sent when he was alive, and he's dead now, obviously. So it's a nice letter. It's just, and it goes, for me, it wasn't to excuse. I don't want to excuse his behaviour or say, well, he's a fucker and she's a saint or whatever. I'm not trying to, take sides on this, but I think for me it showed the generational thing where one generation gets spilled into the next. The bad habits of one generation get spilled over into the next. So have a listen to that. So speaking about short-term quitting, you're going to go through the discomfort. You're going to have those sleepless nights, more than likely. You might have some weird shit going on that you just don't understand, but it's probably the first time in a long time that you've gone for any sustained period of time without drinking, without alcohol and poison in your body. So if you think about it from the perspective of your body recovery, it's like a perspective shift that your brain is getting clean, and your brain is there's chemicals that are starting to balance out inside your brain that haven't been balanced in a while, and it's bound to cause some bad shit. Some people get hallucinations because of the chemicals balances again. So but in the short term, I think it's important to give yourself immediate rewards. Try and give yourself rewards as often as possible. It's an ideal opportunity to do it because you're saving money, for one thing, without spending all your money on drink, and you're saving time. You've got all this time in your hands, so you can reward yourself obviously by buying shit for yourself, going out and spending your money, or there was put a sock on the back of your door, like one lady did earlier on this year. Thought it was just a great idea, with the dollars going into the sock. And whatever it is that you need to do yourself, I can't really tell you what rewards you. Maybe you don't know, so maybe you have to go out and you have to find new things. You have to find a new hobby for yourself, a new pastime, find a new group of people, and even that's going to be daunting at first. You're not going to want to do it, and you're feeling awkward, and you haven't got your familiar crutch, and but it's all well rewarding when you do it. Once you stick your neck out and you go out and you try and you meet other people and you try something different. The worst that can happen is you don't like it, so you try something else, and you keep doing that until you find something that you do like doing. And once you find that, then carry on doing that. Other things you can do are treat yourself to a makeover, treat yourself to a beauty spa, something like that. If you're a bloke, don't be afraid to do these things. These are, I used to be the same. I wouldn't go, I thought, beauty spa, you're having a laugh? I'm not going there, that's for sissies. But I was forced to go one time because I was bought a ticket by my family, and it was the best couple of hours that I've ever spent in a long time. It was so relaxing, and it was all this weird stuff being done to me, but I got through it. It was nice. You just have to treat it like it's not men are going to treat these things differently than women. We're not going in there, or I wasn't going in there for a beauty treatment. That's going to take a lot more than any hour or two. So, I was going in there I was nervous and I didn't know what to expect, and my ideas about massage were sort of completely screwed up from being grown up in Ireland. So, but it was completely enjoyable. It was lovely. When I quit, after a few months, we saved up enough money and we went away on a holiday for the first time in a long time. And it was only to the south of Spain, but it was something that I wouldn't have done. It was the first time I'd also gone away without drinking, so that was an experience in itself and something that I really enjoyed doing. The key is to give yourself short-term feedback in the form of benefits, in the form of rewards, and your rewards are going to be different to my rewards. But think about these things before you quit. Think about what you're going to reward yourself with, how you're going to reward at the end of each day, how you're going to reward yourself at the end of each week, and a long-term reward that you're gonna head towards. In the long term, your rewards are far more intangible, but a lot more real and a lot more long-lasting. I'm talking about in terms of the benefits of physical and mental well-being. Of just feeling so much better, of having more energy to do things, and especially if you can combine quitting drinking with changing your diet and your exercise regime so that you're eating better food, you're getting more nutrition into your body, and you're exercising, and it all contributes to the next. You get onto a vigorous cycle of health. So you eat better food, which allows you to go out and do more exercise. You do more exercise, which brightens up your brain and makes you think better. You think better, so you can think of better exercises to do and better food to eat, and your life just takes on a different roller coaster. And it's not so much the downs that you're going through now. There will be downs. There's always ups and downs in life, but the downs are nowhere near. The downs are pretty good, in comparison. Another thing that you can look forward to is driving a car without fearing getting stopped by the cops anymore. I remember the first time I got stopped after I'd quit drinking, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I was picking up my son, and I got stopped by the guards, and I just blurted it out. I couldn't help it, but it was like a really smarmy, I don't drink, and it was like, as soon as it came out, I thought, that sounded really bad. The guard said to me, good for you, and I was just, but it was, I felt good about it, and it means I can drive anywhere now without any fears at all. Maybe you've got problems in your life with child custody, or you've got battles other than that, and they're going to resolve themselves as soon as you don't drink anymore. But one typical thing about any drug user is the lack of self-control. We might have certain levels of self-control, but we haven't got, it's not the same. Once you quit, you realize how much self-control you were lacking. It's a bit like what we were saying earlier on about, you realize how selfish you were. It's only when you stop drinking and you go through that period, and you've come out the other side of all the discomforts, and you now start to see You see your drinking in a different light and how much out of control you were. It's as simple as that. How much more control you've got now. You'll have really improved awareness about who you are as a person as well, and where you're going to go, what direction your life is going to take. Your job security will improve, whether you work for somebody else or you work for yourself. You're just going to do a better job, and when you do a better job, you're more likely, your employer or is more likely to keep you in the job or to promote you or whatever, and if you're working for yourself in your own business, things just improve. You just cannot help it. For me, I can plan more now and I can do more things. I'm up every morning and I know what I'm going to do the next morning, and there's no hangover standing in the way. There's no temptations to go off and just get out of my face when I should be working. So not only does that give you better security into the future, it gives you better peace of mind knowing that you're what you're doing is worthwhile, and I think for me, I was always thinking I won't ever be able to leave anything behind for my son, that I'm going to die, and he's going to have to scrabble the money together for my funeral, and there'll be just nothing there for him. I'll leave no legacy, I haven't got a will or anything, because basically I've had nothing to leave in a will up until now, and that's a sad state of affairs for a bloke who's coming up to his 50th year. But that's just, it is the way it is. And now I have that peace of mind where I can think about it and go, well, yeah, I'm glad that I'm building something now for my own future, and the future that I'll have, that I can enjoy, and for passing down, And finally, the thing that will improve more than anything else is your relationships. Just dealing with other people and being unselfish and being there for them, it's just, that's what it's all about. Life is about your relationships with other people, I think. I'm still getting to the stage where I have to get out and make new relationships, and I'm doing that all the time. But it's bonding and getting closer and sort of repairing ties with the older relationships as well. So anyway, that's about enough for this week. If you want to catch up on the podcast, that'll be up on Thursday, so heading over to the website on Thursday, or over to iTunes if you've subscribed there. If you want to leave a comment, or if you have any questions to ask, because I'm looking for some questions for here and another podcast. So if you've got anything like that, any stories that you want to talk about, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already subscribed, and give us a like on the video. Click the like button, it just helps to spread the message. So thanks a lot for listening. This is Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery. Onwards and upwards.